Hi, today I'm going to show you on Skoda Rapid 1.2 petrol engine. Now you can see the engine is started and it's shaking a lot, and on the diagnostic tester is showing that it misfires on the second cylinder. But when the engine gets hotter, the misfiring is at minimum state. I have checked the fuel injectors, they are okay. Also I have checked the ignition coils, they are also okay. Checked the spark plugs, they are okay. But last thing I have checked, it was a compression tester, and on the second cylinder the compression is lower than the other ones, and that means that the some valve of the second cylinder is not closing like it should, and that's why the misfiring happens. Now I'm going to show you the tester. Someone is going to crank the engine. Now you can see on the first cylinder how much the instrument is going. Now to check on the second cylinder. Now you can see it's the difference between the cylinders. And also I'm going to check on the third one. You can see there is a lot of pressure, and that means I have to remove the cylinder head so I can repair the problem. First I'm going to start from the lower side of the vehicle. I'm going to raise the vehicle, remove the plastic cover, and also I'm going to drain the oil. I have removed the lower plastic, drained the oil. Now I have to disconnect the exhaust. There are 3 bolts here with 3 nuts with 16mm wrench, and also this bolt that is holding the pipe, because later I will have to remove the catalytic converter. And on this side I have to open from this bolt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with hex 5mm hex wrench, so I can remove the cover of the timing chain. Now I'm going to open these 2 bolts with 10mm wrench, and I have disconnected the top oxygen sensor. This is the wire, and when I remove this aluminium heat shield, there are 2 bolts here at the lower side that hold the catalytic converter. So now I'm going to lower the vehicle, but first to remove these 2 bolts. Now I have lowered the vehicle. I have to remove these 2 bolts also with 10mm wrench to remove the heat shield, and then I can start removing the catalytic converter. Now I need a 12mm wrench to remove the bolts that hold the exhaust manifold, and the exhaust manifold is together with the catalytic converter. There are 7 bolts. Now I can raise the vehicle again, and I can remove the catalytic converter. There are 2 bolts with Torx 45. One is over here. I can see the Torx, and the other one is on this side. They need to be removed so I can remove the catalytic converter. And now for the last thing on the lower side is to drain the coolant. Now I'm back on the top side of the vehicle, and I'm going to remove the air filter housing, the air hose and the inlet manifold. I have also removed the battery stand because I have to open the 4 bolts that hold the thermostat. They are with Torx 30. Now I have removed the bolts and only moving a millimeter so the cylinder head can go out. I have disconnected the grounding point here. I can remove the wires, disconnect the wires, and then I can continue to removing the inlet manifold. The inlet manifold are holding 6 bolts with 6mm hex wrench, and also disconnect the hoses of the vacuum servo. And from the tank evaporator, and also the fuel line for the fuel injectors. And this is the oil evaporator hose, disconnected from here. And the map sensor is also has a connector at this side. Now to remove the bolts. The inlet manifold is now removed. Here you can see the last bolt. This is the 6th one. It's very hard to show you while it's on the vehicle. Now as much as I can notice, the inlet valves are the inlet part of the cylinder head is clean, and my opinion is that the exhaust valves are damaged. So we'll see when I remove the cylinder head. Now I'm going to support the engine the lower side. I have to remove the drive belt. I'm going to disconnect the engine mounting, and then I have to remove the timing chain cover. The engine is now supported, mounting is removed, and while the drive belt is still on the engine, opening the 3 bolts with 6mm hex wrench of the coolant pump pulley. Now I can remove the drive belt. I have also removed the tensioner and the idler pulley. Now I have to remove the alternator. There are 2 bolts, 13mm wrench, and on this side there is 8mm wrench on the heat shield. Now I'm moving on the back side of the engine, and I'm going to remove the RPM sensor. It's holding 1 bolt with Torx 30, and then I can insert the locking pin in the flywheel so I can open the crankshaft pulley. This is the crankshaft locking pin, and the crankshaft pulley can be opened with 12 angle 18mm wrench, and the crankshaft pulley is now removed. Now I can start removing the bolts from the timing chain cover, and also I have to remove the dipstick. There is Torx 30, and all the bolts are with Torx 30, except there are 3 bolts with 12 angle M10, and there are 2 bolts here and here. They are with M8. All the bolts are now removed, and now the hardest thing is to remove the timing valve cover. The timing valve cover is now removed. Now you can see all the holes for the bolts, because it's a little harder to show you on the vehicle. Now I have returned the tensioner, put a pin into the hole. Now it's the timing chain is released the pressure, and to completely remove it I must open one bolt of the sprocket. I need this kind of key to lock the pin, and I can open it with 27mm wrench. And then I can remove the valve cover. When you are removing the plastic slides for the timing chain, be very careful because they can easily break. Now to remove the valve cover, I have to open these bolts. They are at the end, and they are also in the center with 12 angle M8. Now the valve cover with the camshafts are removed. Everything looks nice here. I'm going to remove the hydraulic lifters and also the followers, and I'm going to open these 8 bolts with 12 angle M12 to remove the cylinder head. The cylinder head is now removed, so I'm going to fill with petrol. And I'm going to wait if the valves are going to leak. But as I can notice, there is no leak from the exhaust valves. So now I'm going to check the inlet valves. Now I'm going to fill with petrol the inlet valves. And I will wait to see if it's going to leak. But as I can notice, there is no leaks also from these valves. So now I'm going to check the pistons. Now I'm going to fill the second one and the third one. And I'm going to wait to see if the petrol is going to leak. Now, as I can notice, on the second cylinder the fuel is leaking, it's losing the level. And on the third one the level is still the same. I hope you can see the difference. So that means that I will have to remove the engine and disassemble it and remove the second piston to see if the problem is with the piston rings or it's something wrong with the piston. The engine is now removed, So now I have to disassemble and remove the second piston. First I'm going to remove the oil sump. There are a couple of bolts with 5mm hex wrench. Now I have to remove the oil pump. There are 3 bolts with 13mm wrench, and also the plastic cover for the timing chain with 5mm hex wrench. The oil pump is now removed. I can open these bolts that hold the engine block lower half, and these are the bolts for the main bearings that hold the crankshaft. This one are with 14mm wrench, and this one are with 13mm. I have separated the engine. Now I can remove the second piston. I have opened the big end bearing, and now I have to pull out the piston. I hope you can see the piston ring is damaged. There is a part also missing from this. It's broken in pieces. And the compression ring, it's not moving. It's total stuck. I think also the piston is damaged. Probably I'll need another piston, new piston ring set, and to